Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Smart HVAC Marketing Podcast. My name is Eric Thomas. I am the host of the show. And today we are joined by Anthony Pascucci from Sansone Air Conditioning. Anthony, how you doing?
How you doing, Eric? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. No, thank you. So, Anthony, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell our listeners a little more about Sansone and your role there?
Sure. Like Eric said, my name is Anthony Pascucci with Sansone Air Conditioning. We're a family-owned and operated company down in South Florida, West Palm Beach area. My grandfather started the company back in 1976, so this year we're celebrating our 45th anniversary. So I'm actually now third generation owner-manager of the company, and basically grew up here, but I'm sure we'll get more into the background side.
Yeah. So you guys are, I know the name is Sansone Air Conditioning.
Yep.
You all also do heating services since it's down in Florida?
Not a lot of heating here, right? It's pretty much all cooling, no furnaces. So we do the simple stuff. It's pretty much all straight cool, and that's about it. A little toaster oven heater, and that's about it here. So not even any heat pumps too much. So.
Oh, really? Yeah. How often do you think you guys would actually get like a call for a heat pump or something?
You know, it's funny that every year there's always that 1 week where it hits like the 50s. That's cold for us. They turn on the heaters. We get a couple calls for non-working heat, and that's about it. It'll last a couple weeks usually out of the year. So
wow, that's really cool. It seems like every time I talk to someone in a different area, there's always different circumstances when it comes to the temperature and how it affects the business.
Yep.
So do you all ever really experience a slow season, or is it mainly pretty good?
It's interesting. We're more bell curved than the rest of the country. So we don't have that kind of shorter summer and then the same thing in winter. We're just kind of a longer summer, right? So we really kind of start March or mid-April kind of time frame. And then we kind of go to about mid-October, and then November to February are actually our worst months typically. So we're very bell curved that way.
Nice. So what's it like being in the family business and, now running the company and kind of following in the footsteps of the rest of your family?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting at times. We joke that we should probably have our own reality show here, and we probably like OC Choppers guys. We could definitely run that show here for sure. No, but it's good. The opportunity to work with family every day and just grow the business together. Obviously, there's 5 of us here as family members and owners, so it's a big dynamic sometimes. But, working with family, obviously, we all have trust in each other and, obviously the business best interest every single day. So there's really nothing better than that as far as your management team.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that you've seen change with the company throughout the years as you've been, growing up and now into the business?
Yeah. So I'll say we started as a very new construction focused company. So we built the company early 80s, 90s, and the new construction boom years. We did a ton of new construction. At one point, we were doing like 100 houses a week. And it was just, a ton of installs, obviously, which has led to a good, customer base for us going into now, and obviously replacement opportunities. I came in originally in the mid 2000s, and I was kind of transitioning the company more to that retail service type focus. Actually left the company for 5 years, and I joined one of the manufacturers, York actually, and recently back to here just in October of last year. So the biggest change has been really the focus on retail side of the business and really focused on growing that side of the company, and really not as much new construction anymore, but all retail side. So,
yeah. So what are some of the ways that you all have grown the residential side, or like not the new construction side?
Yeah, because of that large base, it's helped us tremendously. Obviously, we do a good amount of advertising in the market. We have about 60 employees now, so decent size company for the area. Yeah. So that comes with a lot of obviously digital advertising, experts like yourself, different social media, some direct mail, a little bit of media like TV and radio, not as much. I guess we're more focused on lead generation. Recently, we partnered with a company that actually I'm friends with, a guy who kind of developed this, and it's called the Automated Closer. And it really gives a lot of different automations as far as marketing. So we're doing some just crazy stuff that normally you would rely on people calling maintenances and following up on customers. We're automating a ton of stuff like that now. And because of our large customer base, it's just helped us grow tremendously really quickly.
Yeah.
So it's cool stuff.
Wow. That's really cool. Yeah. And 60 employees is a really big company. And I mean, you just said it was decent size for that area. So are there bigger companies down there?
Yeah, there are. I'd say, we're one of the larger ones in the area for sure, especially in Palm Beach County where we are. There's a handful of us that are, that size for sure. Just in our trade area, there's 5,000 contractors.
Wow.
So I would say we're, top 10 in the area as far as size.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
For that many contractors.
There's a lot.
So how many other contractors in that area do you think are maybe not so much your size, but in between that maybe $1 to $5 million range?
That's a good question. There's a lot of them. I would say over 100. Right, or right around that number from what I've heard in the past, and from when I was on the distribution side, there's right around that number just in our market.
Yeah.
So, a lot more towards the million side than the 5 million side. I'll say. But,
yeah. How many installs is that a year to hit like 1 million, do you think?
Typically a million, I think. It obviously depends on your average sale price and all that, but I think it's only a million's only a couple a week or a couple a day, going from there. So if you're doing one a day, you're doing 50 installs a year, and your average price is, I don't know, 7,000 to 8,000. You're talking, right there, 400,000 or 500,000 plus service and all that. So you're talking 1 to 2 a day typically to hit a million. So.
Yeah, I've always been interested in like the number breakdown when it comes to like X amount of installs equals this much revenue.
For sure. And that's an important thing to be on top of. So we have our kind of 5-year plan always in place, and we're breaking everything down to number of installs, number of service calls needed, number of phone calls needed to come in. And that's where it's key against your marketing, right? So we're measuring that against our booking rates and making sure if we can book 5% more of our calls, that leads to X amount of more dollars and X amount of less calls needed to hit our goals. So I think it's important to always be looking at those, KPIs.
Yeah. So which of like the digital advertising tactics that you all have used have you seen the best success with when it comes to getting those service calls?
Yeah. Obviously we do a good amount of pay-per-click in the area. It's huge here. So no one wants to fix their air conditioner. No one wants to buy a new one. So you have to be top of mind when people are looking for it, right? We all know everyone's going to the internet to look for that. So us being able to come up, so pay-per-click, obviously SEO, Google Local, social media. You got to have a combination of all those, right? So,
yeah, you have to hit all of them for sure, especially in a competitive market, like you said. And I think I'm up here in Virginia Beach, and I would say it's mildly competitive. The market here, I'd say there's probably 5 to 10 contractors who are really competing with each other. And then there's, some smaller guys. So it's definitely not that competitive. There's definitely not 5,000 contractors.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, the biggest mistake I see a lot of companies make is they'll get these leads and not call them timely, or they won't follow up with them. They'll try one time and won't get them. That happens a lot with internet leads or email leads. I mean, we're getting leads from 100 different places now: text, chat, email, wherever they're coming at us, so like I said, we have those automations in place where as soon as the customer fills out a contact form, it's automatically leaving a voicemail, it's automatically texting them, we're sending a booking link to our site to try to get them to book right away, and it goes through an automated follow-up process basically until they book. So until that's booked, it continues on. So we do a lot of things like that through that automated closer program, where same thing with the sales estimate. If we go and do a sales estimate and we don't sell that, it's getting an auto voicemail 30 minutes after, it's getting a text from me the next day automatically. And that continues on until it's either sold or lost.
Yeah. Like a drip campaign, pretty much.
Pretty much. Yeah. Just different avenues. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds a lot like Hatch. I'm not sure if you've heard of Hatch.
No.
It's sounds very similar.
Yeah. There's a lot of different things out there like that.
Yeah. Their program is called Speed to Lead. And it's someone fills out a web form, they get hit with a straight to voicemail, a text message, and it's really cool. And I mean, that stuff's it's so helpful because, companies will hire a CSR or a client care coordinator or whatever you want to call them. And sometimes they're slow to picking up the phone and getting that call in, and that could cost you thousands of dollars.
For sure. We struggled with, obviously someone calls on the phone through your marketing, your team can't ignore it or they're going to answer the phone. But someone sends an email. I read a statistic, I don't know, a year or so ago, I heard it on a podcast or something, that if you call within 5 minutes, you have like a 361% better chance of actually booking and selling that customer.
Wow.
So, we've implemented our 5-minute rule because of that. And it's hard though, right? Because you're getting, like I said, those emails, you're getting online bookings, you're getting all that kind of stuff. And the team can ignore those easier than a phone call, obviously. So, yeah.
So do you all have people in place that are essentially like a call center or someone that's picking up the phone and calling?
Yeah. We have CSRs, obviously they're answering the phone. We have different assigned responsibilities based on kind of the medium that the customers are using to contact us. And then, like I said, a lot of it is what we're automating, where they can, receive an auto text, auto voicemail, auto email, and of course, leading to booking links on our site and things like that. So
nice. So are you all a York dealer or a Train dealer?
We sell Carrier in York primarily. We've been a Carrier dealer for a long time, 9-time Carrier President's Award winner. So that's our main brand. Obviously can't use them in every situation. So we sell most brands, but the Carrier is our main. So
how have you all overcome some of the shortages in the manufacturers lately?
Yeah, good question. Obviously, we're all facing that right now, not only just on equipment, but on materials, parts and supplies, everything. So we've always been, a stocking type dealer, where we stock a good amount of equipment here and materials. I probably have double what I should right now because of those shortages. We do a lot of same day, next day, weekend installs. Down here in Florida, when it's 95 out, if I don't install the unit the next day, I'm going to lose it. Right? Someone else is going to install it the same day or the next day. So having it here is a big part of our business plan for speed to install. So
if there was someone out there listening to this that was facing an issue right now with their manufacturer, and they were thinking, all right, whenever this is over with, I'm going to stock up so that I'm prepared for the next time this happens. How much supply would you recommend for them to save up?
Yeah, that's a good question. We try to be typically a 2-week to a month type usage. Like I said, obviously we're kind of overstocked right now. The more history you have, the better you can kind of project what you're going to sell and what we've worked really hard to, almost wean down our price book and what we're offering so we can stock the ones we're selling the most of and not just offer a whole gamut of 50 different brands and 50 different models, because it makes it a lot harder to project and especially to stock. So.
I wonder what some of the smaller contractors are doing right now, who are really struggling. I feel like they have no choice but to wait.
You're buying wherever you can get it right now sometimes, and that's okay. That's where relationships with your distributors are obviously important. Keep those open, obviously. Even if you don't buy from somebody, it's good to know them in case there's something like this going on, right?
Yeah. So what have been some of the biggest challenges you all have faced recently with the labor shortage as well?
Yeah, it's interesting with unemployment, labor shortages, all that kind of going on right now. It was really hard to find office people in particular because they were making more on unemployment than they were working sometimes. So it's definitely raised rates for
Mhm.
us. We're very aggressive on the field side, trying to find new technicians, installers. Obviously, we're all challenged with that. We've tried to do different things as far as bonuses, sign-on bonuses, referral bonuses. We have different pay structures set up to make it advantageous. We recently changed our on-call schedule to make it where the techs are working less on call, and now we're hiring kind of shifts for our technicians. So guys who don't want to work a weekend don't have to work a weekend. We've tried 4-day work weeks now for a lot of the techs. So doing a lot of things like that to really just try to make it a better place for everybody so they want to come here, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, we've been fortunate to have a good name in the market also. So I think that's helped us a lot with recruiting as well, which is always important to build your internal culture, right?
Yeah. Are you all building up people from like entry level there, like where they'll come in with no experience and they can learn, or you?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's mixed. We've definitely tried to, if you can hire, based on the personality, you find someone who wants to learn and work. We'll start some of those guys either as maintenance techs or as typically install helpers, and they'll kind of start on that side and kind of work their way through as we're training them. We're working on building actually a live lab where we can do a lot more training because it's just the future. You're going to have to grow your techs. They're just, they're not walking in the door, obviously. So
Yeah. I've seen that companies that do it that way, where they bring them in green
yeah,
and train them up, they have a better retention, and they have better technicians because it's not a melting pot of personalities and bad habits and
yeah.
training from other companies. Has that been the experience that you've seen as well?
Yeah, I definitely agree. You can teach them kind of your way of doing it versus trying to break a bad habit in the past. And that goes depending on the person, but there's definitely a benefit of that side to being able to teach from the beginning. So,
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And I remember you just saying that you guys were building like a training lab there
yeah.
almost. That sounds really cool. What's that going to entail?
Yeah, so we figure we're going to have just 4 to 6 live systems where we can have people come in and train, especially the new people. We're talking about doing anywhere from a 1 to 3 month type training where we go to maybe high schools or trade schools and say, hey, we're offering 100% scholarship. Come to the Sansone Trade School and we'll guarantee you a job if you complete it, basically.
Wow.
Just something to get these guys in and keep growing. Honestly, our biggest hindrance to our growth is, trying to find more people. So
Mhm.
I can hire 10 techs tomorrow and keep them busy.
Yeah.
It's just the reality of it. So,
Yeah, and that's something that we hear a lot here with Rival Digital with our company, where we'll hear clients say like, "Oh, we're not going to, we need to pause advertising, or we can't do any more advertising
yeah,
because we can't really take on work right now because we don't have anybody to do it."
yeah,
And that sounds like a real challenge.
it is for sure. And I guess I'm just kind of the mindset of I'm going to push and I'm going to find the guys because I know when I'm busy and my back's against the wall, I'm going to find the guys.
Yeah.
So I try not to lay off the gas pedal per se.
Yeah.
Force ourselves to find them. So
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's like the silver bullet of a business, is to quit doing marketing and advertising.
100% agree.
Like especially in COVID, a lot of people, the second things started turning up on their belly, the first thing they cut was marketing.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, I feel like the companies that really came out ahead
Yep.
during the pandemic were the ones that said, okay, we're going to do 2 times the marketing right now.
Yeah.
Because we need to.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
all see that in
Yeah,
COVID?
we definitely saw, people being in their home more, especially here, running their air conditioning all day, basically, when normally you'd be at work. Now you're running your air in the peak times in Florida in the summertime. So demand's just been crazy. We're up 59% right now year over year.
Wow.
And, just continue pushing. So,
Yeah. So before we started recording this, you and I were chatting about your building a little bit.
yeah.
Unfortunately, we weren't recording then, so I want to talk about it again because it's a really unique space, and I had looked at it the other day when I was researching the company before, prepping for this.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool building. It seems a little bit unlike most HVAC warehouses or shops or buildings that you might typically expect. So tell us a little more about y'all's building and how you got in there.
Yeah, so we actually recently moved into this building just about a year and a half ago, and ended up purchasing it when we moved up to this area. And it used to be a pool store in the past. And if you look on our website, the front of our building is a huge glass, basically squares of glass, but it's curved. And actually that pool company, they had a pool outside there. So that glass kind of reflected on that pool. It's on a main road. So when cars drove by, they reflected off the glass and they could see the name of the pool company there.
Cool.
After that, a tile store bought it, I think it was. So if you come in our office, there's like all this fancy, different kinds of tile, like you would expect in the tile showroom kind of thing. Come us after. So
yeah, that's exactly how our office is. It was the office that we have in Virginia Beach. It was a house, and then it got converted into an office building for a tile company.
Yeah.
And so you walk in and there's just exotic tiles all over the floor. Like there's a different pattern and a different tile in every single room you walk into.
It's pretty similar to ours.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It adds a lot of character to it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Anthony, if there was someone listening to this right now who is wanting to take that next step and grow their heating and air business, what is some advice you would give them from someone who's literally been doing the HVAC since you were a kid and have grown into the business?
Yeah. I would say the biggest thing is always keep learning. There's so many great resources out there now between, awesome podcasts like this that I listen to all the time. And, on your drive time, even going to and from work, if you can knock out a podcast a day, you'll learn so much. And then just reaching out to other people, people like me, I'm always happy to help other companies. If my competition is out there doing better, it just helps the industry in general. So definitely reach out to people on the forums, reach out to people in your area. There's a lot of people like me who are definitely willing to help. There's a lot of opportunities to learn out there for sure. Just, learn as much as you can and be in business for the long run for sure.
That's awesome. And what's the way that someone could contact you if they're interested?
Our website, definitely Sansone, SANSONE-AC.com. I'm on LinkedIn all the time. So you can find me on there as well. And then my email is anthony@sansone-ac.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us on the podcast. This was a great conversation. I appreciate you being a guest with me.
Awesome. Thanks again for having me, Eric. Good talking to you.